So this is fight 235, and it's in a district outside of Chiang Mai. I mean, it's in Chiang Mai, but it's outside of the city. It's called Sansai, and this was a festival that was crazy. The festival was so big, and there was a lot of dancing. And I am not super familiar with my corner. This man in my corner is named Mike, and he's from the Duuglas-Ittu gym, which is the Thai name for Lana Muay Thai. But he's before me, so he's kind of like the old guard of Lana Muay Thai. And his name's Mike, but he's Thai. And he now runs the hill camp. And it's kind of funny that I was called Sylvie Duuglas-Ittu because for years when I was fighting at Lana, I always wanted to be called Duuglas-Ittu because that was the Thai name. But the Westerners got Lana Muay Thai, and the Thai kids were called Duuglas-Ittu. So this is probably the second or third time I've ever fought with that name. Dang is in my corner. Dang is often my corner for my fights at Taipei in Chiang Mai. And this fight is against Palmy. Palmy is the current standing 118-pound Northern champion. That means she outweighs me by at least, but possibly more than 18 pounds. This is something that they do at festival fights and at kind of big fights where there are lots of VIP people. They're getting these garlands ready. And so these promoters or people who are important in the community will come in and put the garlands on the fighters. I felt badly for this woman because she didn't know she had to go under the ropes, and she was wearing quite tight jeans and high heels. And it was cumbersome for her to go under, and they would not let her go through. They had ring girls here as well who had to crawl under there with their heels on, and not a lot that they were wearing. It's uncomfortable. You can see our size difference even right there. Palmy is taller than me as well. We fought one time before, quite a few months ago actually. And Palmy won that fight by cutting me, so there was a doctor stoppage, I think in round 3 or 4. And I was not happy about that. We're getting a tip right here by this guy before we even fight. Then you have to take photos. So I'm rematching Palmy. We fought one time before. She won because of a doctor stoppage with the cut. And going into this fight, we had to go see the ringside doctor, which you usually do, and they give you a very one-over look. They make sure that you don't have any obvious injuries. They take your blood pressure, and this ringside doctor really worried me because she's a nurse from a local hospital and did not know anything about Muay Thai. She was concerned that my nose is crooked because it's going to impair my breathing. My nose has been broken for 6 years, which I said to her, but immediately her thinking that because I have a very old broken nose that maybe I can't fight concerned me. So I thought that maybe even if there was just a tiny bit of blood in this fight, not one that would normally need to be called, that the ringside doctor not knowing anything about Muay Thai and me being a woman, that might be a problem. There was one time early in my career at Lana Muay Thai when I fought at a festival like this, and they had a ringside doctor like that, a nurse from a local hospital, and she called my fight on something that I ended up getting 1 stitch on. So I was a little concerned about that going into this fight. Just because Palmy cut me on the last one, so I knew she'd be trying to on this one as well. We also have another connection, me and Palmy, which is that her trainer is this guy, Ajahn Sanit, who my trainer, Krunu, really, really respects. They know each other from when Krunu was quite young, I think when he was still a fighter. And lots of the current trainers and gym owners in Pattaya have a connection to Ajahn Sanit as oh, he is a good man, he has a connection down there. Maybe he used to be in Bangkok more than he is now. So he was not there at this fight, but it's an interesting connection to me that our trainers are connected. She has a really beautiful ram Muay. So they're pretty much announcing different promoters and VIP people that are local. I haven't fought in a festival fight in probably almost a year. I think my last one was up in Royet with Karahat last year. I love festival fights. The people come right up to the ring, so your audience is like at the ring. The gambling is very exciting because people are standing all around. The excitement from the audience is very like immediate. I really, really like festival fights. These shorts that I'm wearing are made by Woody Muay Thai, and they were given to me as a gift by them. They're beautiful, I love them, and I actually was not certain about the size and the cut initially, but the Pi'uan who owns Woody convinced me to at least try them. Why I love them is that you don't have to wear undershorts under them because the legs close, so they stay closed. I've never fought in them though, so I was a little bit concerned going into this fight that I might not be aware of the fact that I flash people in my shorts, or when I'm doing my ram Muay, when you get on the ground, I don't know how high they ride up. This is the kind of thing that a male fighter never thinks about. Their shorts are see-through. They pull them up as high as they possibly can. Like all the weird little things that you think about because Muay Thai is a performance, I find kind of interesting. Oh, you can see our size difference there. Kevin's up on the ring again. Kevin hasn't been up on the ring for years in my fights. A lot of that was to do with Jaidi, because we had him on a leash and we had him with us at fights, and so he can't come up on the ring, and Kevin was trying to control him, and there's a lot of shaky cam from that. So Kevin can get back up on the ring again, different angle. It's unusual to have ring card girls actually get in the ring, or to have them at all. So I've seen them more commonly at festival fights than in stadium fights, and they actually get in the ring at stadium fights more than, or at festival fights more than stadium fights, because they're temporary, so they're not like blessed rings. Oh, but it's hard to get in and out in those heels. Poor girl. So I decided that I was going to fight Palmy Orthodox for a number of reasons. One was that I had just defeated Nong Benz, who's the 112-pound standing Northern champion. She's also Southpaw, and I had decided to go Orthodox back in that fight and had success. Another reason I chose to go Orthodox in this fight is that sometimes, even though I'm very comfortable fighting Southpaw, and I actually naturally go into Southpaw now when I'm training, I have a tendency to overthink in fights when I'm Southpaw. So I decided I was going to do this Orthodox and just kind of try to feel more free because it's more natural to me. But throughout this fight, there were times that I could understand why Karahat had me go Southpaw and why it's an advantage at times. This thing that Palmy is doing with her front arm is the story of our last fight. She was putting that thing in my face and just left kicking. It's all she does, really, is she like steps away and kicks. She's putting that leg up to keep me on the outside and then putting that really, really long arm in my face, and it frustrated the hell out of me in our first fight. So I was anticipating it coming into this one, and I wanted to pivot off and stay close more than I actually am. But I was thinking about it. It's in my mind. I'm just not closing the distance the way that I wanted to. But I am smacking her hand the way that I wanted to. I'm taking a lot of left kicks in this first round. They're so high that I can't check them with my leg. They're basically all head kicks. I did catch a lot of them on my arms, which I have bruises today for. They do score when they hit your arms, but it's better than hitting your head, and it's early rounds. So I've had Diesel Noi at the gym with me in Petrongrung and Pattaya for the past month, and he has a very firm belief that as a Muay Thai fighter in the first 2 rounds, you don't worry about bringing your weapons out, you let your opponent roll out. So even though I'm getting tagged pretty much at will by that left kick of hers, because it's an early round, I don't care. So I'm trying to when she's putting that teep up to stop me from coming in, I'm trying to remember to kick her standing leg, and I nailed it pretty good a couple of times. I'm kicking her elbow there with my foot, with my right leg. It does score, hitting her arm, but it's cracking my foot. I should look like I'm going to go high and then go to the body, but I don't throw very many body kicks at all. So here I finally get in, and I don't quite get a grab on her, but this is basically my aim, especially with an opponent who's so much bigger than me and so much longer than me, is I just have to get in and grab her like this, because this is where I win. I was dominating her in that position in our first fight before she cut me. So here's Dang. Dang's my man, coming in for the corner. So basically, he was not saying much between these rounds. He was telling me to keep my hands up because she was throwing so many head kicks. Probably also because he remembered that she elbowed me last time. But this, to me, one of the main concerns of this fight was just not getting cut. One, because it takes away any fights that I have coming up, and I do have a row of fights coming up, so it can literally cost me fights to be cut. Also because of that ringside doctor not really knowing a whole lot about which cuts should be called and which shouldn't. And also, I just fucking don't want to be cut by this girl again. Like, I'm getting better with my elbows, and I kind of have this fantasy in my head that I'm going to start paying some of these girls back. So I think that I was maybe overly concerned about the cuts, and so I was staying farther back than is beneficial for me in my style of fighting. So I'm trying to deal with that front arm a little bit more going into round two. These leg kicks are a strategy that Dieselnoy was working with me on a little bit. The ones he's trying to teach me don't look like that, but leg kicking in general is something that he's focused on for me. A lot of times when I'm fighting against these very experienced, so much bigger opponents, is a lot of their game is composure. That's true for male fighters as well. That's true for all of Muay Thai. It's a very, there's her first elbow. It's a very performative art and sport. But because of her height and her length, the way that she can hold her composure while, you know, just occasionally putting out these scoring kicks is something that, as the fighter who's coming forward, as the Muay Khao Dern fighter, I just have to break that composure over and over again. There's my first body punch. So she's trying to catch me with an elbow when I rush in, and otherwise just keep me out with that teep. Because I'm standing orthodox, because I decided to fight this fight orthodox, that front teep is working incredibly well. I think I had meant to like teep and interrupt her front leg more, but kind of got discombobulated in my head of how I was doing that. She's bringing it up for that teep pretty well, which keeps me from kicking it and keeps me a little bit interrupted by it. That was a good teep, and walk away by her. Look like this is no problem. There's another elbow. I think that's what she cut me with in our first fight, that exact elbow. My guard was pretty good in this fight. But there, so I'm interrupting her front arm and throwing the leg kick. You can hear them, and she was definitely affected by a few of them. Not that one. But see here, when she's on the rope like that and she puts her leg up, me going and smashing her standing leg is something I got from Karahat. It's good. It pairs well with what Dieselnoy's been having me do. I just need to be a little bit closer to get the angle and damage that Dieselnoy focuses on in his tactic. I'm cutting off the ring pretty well. I'm tracking her pretty well. My decision to go orthodox in this so that I could feel more free, I think paid off. I'm not as frustrated as I think I could be in not being able to come in, although I'm definitely not feeling like I'm controlling her movement or situation. But looking at the weapons that are coming out and the way that I am tracking her and closing off, to me, I think is positive in terms of the frustrations that I've had in other fights not being able to do that. But because she's southpaw, if I had gone southpaw myself, it would make it so that my open side as a orthodox fighter would become closed. So she's basically scoring with these big left kicks, and she would be hitting me on my closed side if I went southpaw. So you're about to hear Kevin screaming at me to go southpaw for all of those reasons. And because I was struggling to get in, I thought to myself that maybe I should come in southpaw and then once I was close, switch to orthodox. But the things you think in the corner and the things you do in the ring are not always the same. Again, I didn't want to overthink this fight, so whatever I wanted to do or was thinking to do, I didn't want to overthink it and get really stiff. So sometimes when you make that decision to be kind of like super freeform, improvisational, it means you're going to be suffering from the same mistakes over and over again without solving them. And sometimes it means that you feel good and flow and all that stuff. So it's a working. All right, so we're starting round 3. So now, round 3 is when someone gets to take the lead in the fight. Rounds 1 and 2 are more or less even though they definitely would go to Palmy in terms of scoring. Round 3 is when it starts to matter. So these massive left head kicks that she's been throwing at me and I've just been blocking, they're hitting my arms so they score. Now they matter in this round. So I need to be staying much closer and I need to just get her, I need to grab her and bring the fight to my range. I'm having a little difficulty closing in because I'm very wary of her elbows. I just don't want to come in with my hands down and get cut for no reason. My guard has been really good lately. I've been working on it actually quite hard, but there are times when you get into a fight when you're just in your like base mind and you're not necessarily thinking of all your things. But that long guard and cross I had right there, this is what Dang's been asking me to do. Here I finally get in. I go past her teep and I get her in a lock. Diesel Noi was so happy when he watched this fight afterwards that the referee is popping us off the rope instead of breaking us. That's another difference you'll find between stadium fights and festival fights, is that at festival fights they let the clinch develop and go. Stadium fights, they break the clinch. Some stadiums, Taipei, where we had our last fight, they break the clinch much faster. In that exchange, I got a little bit caught up, and her knees were actually better than mine. So even though I grabbed her and had a dominant position, her scoring knees were better, and she won that particular clinch exchange. Here you can see she's setting up for that left elbow as well, waiting for me to come in. She's using her teep to bounce me back so that I'll come in harder, and then she's going to try to hit me with that elbow when I race in. It's a really good tactic. She's scoring with that left kick too. This is like, this is the do or die moment when it's like, who's going to take over the fight? I've got her again in the clinch here, and I'm looping her arm, which is really good, but I'm looping it too low. I think I'm thinking about elbowing her with my right arm, but I went up. I did an upward elbow with that arm from the arm loop, but I had the loop too low, so I couldn't actually generate power off of it. She's trying to do that left elbow. That's what she cut me with in our first fight, was that left elbow. So you can see she's just like pocketing herself around from rope to rope so that she can have her back against the rope and just use this teep to keep me off. But even though she's not tired yet now, having let her kick me so many times in rounds 1 and 2 has brought her energy level down so that I can pull her into the deeper waters. These were nice elbows from her, but neither of them landed. So here, I overturned a little bit with my left arm. See how my elbow's behind her head? But I pull it back. This is good. This is something that I've gotten much better at in my past few fights, is repositioning when I'm in a bad position in the clinch. And now my clinch positions are better. That off balancing was really good for me, but her knee at the end of the exchange was really good for her. something Karahat has worked with me on is that when someone pushes you off or there's a break, you have to throw something as like the last answer. So round 3, I think, went to her. I was getting in and I was starting to get my range, but she had good answers to what I was doing and was moving off and getting her left kick off as well. So now going into round 4, the onus is on me to take over. You can see that Dang is telling me to stay long. He wants me to have this long guard. So you put your front arm out and your back arm is closer to your face to catch punches or elbows or like close range. Look at that audience. It's something that to me feels counterintuitive to use a long guard to guard against weapons like elbows. But it's something that both Dang and Pinu tell me all the time, is you use this long guard to guard against elbows, but you keep one arm close to yourself to protect for the closer range. If you watch Diesel Noi, he does what I call the Dracula guard, which is like wrapping his back arm around his jaw to protect him from uppercuts and hooks. And it's totally like this beautiful offensive defensive guard at the same time, and I don't have belief in it yet, but I've been working on it so diligently in my sparring, just trying to believe in it, that I think that I'm starting to feel it. So this tall girl getting out of the ring right now, that's Nong Benz. She's the 112-pound standing Northern champ who I fought 9 days ago and beat. And Palmy, again, is the 118-pound Northern champion standing. So she's using this super long guard to just keep me at a distance where she can tag me with these left kicks, because she got round 3, and now that this is round 4, she really just has to like outscore me with not a lot, and she wins. So my goal is to just get in there and grab her and clinch. I'm cutting off the ring pretty good. I don't need to be stepping back like that. It's something that I need to train out of my instincts, this stepping back and taking distance for defense. I honestly, when I block, my next instinct should be stepping in. Something Dang and Pinu tell me is that when you take the kick, you immediately step in and negate the point, basically. I'm trying to not like freak out in my head with this like go, close in. Like, don't think close in, just actually close in. So here, I go southpaw to try to close the distance. So if I go southpaw on my way in, I've closed off the open side as an orthodox fighter for that kick. So it's gonna score less on my way in, and then once I get in, I can go back orthodox and have a bigger score against a southpaw there.
Got it, clinch.
So I'm kind of working a little better, but I need to get to this position. This is where I wanna be. Ref pops us off, which is great. I'm trying to yank my elbow to the front of her body, and my arm loop here is much better than the last time. See how I'm above her elbow? There's no way she's getting that sucker out. And she's answering my knees, but my knees are better. And when I put her down in round 4, putting someone on the ground in round 4 is really, really good. This round is mine as long as I can maintain this tracking her down. Keep her running from me rather than her scoring at will. That teep was really good.
Gotta go.
When you're walking forward and you teep and you use the teep offensively, really good. It looks like you're controlling where an escaping fighter is going rather than that they're like pulling you forward all the time. Here again, I was overturned and I was able to pull myself back to more or less square. These are scoring really well, and I'm pulling her off the ropes, so I'm controlling the much bigger opponent. This is scoring so good. She cannot get out. She cannot get away, and I can feel her draining. Oh, it's hard to hold someone though. My arms are burning. But these are really good points. See how her knee is just an answer, whereas mine is actually energetic, and I've got a bit of a bounce. It's one of the first breaks that the ref has done. I think it was fair. I wasn't really moving that much anymore. So that's what she's gonna try to do, is this big long kick to get this head kick score in. I got a nice left hook at that moment. Here I've just got a leg kicker. I should have gone to her standing leg there. So, Dang is happy because round 3 was Palmy's, round 4 was mine. So, going into round 5, I just have to maintain my momentum. I have to continue what I've just established, and I win. He kept saying to me between these rounds, he's like, one more round, one more round. It's good for me to have to maintain this momentum because I just won this round, so that's what's in everyone's minds. It's a little bit harder for Palmy. If she wins round 5, she wins because she had round 3, but because she lost round 4, she's reestablishing a lead rather than carrying over from the round before. So the announcer is talking about how I'm smaller. I often don't get verbal credit for that. You can see that Dang is just smearing so much Vaseline on my face. I have, the day after a fight, I have so much Vaseline in the front of my hair because every round there's more added, and it just like melts into your hairline. But as the forward fighter, as the Dern fighter, as a Muay Thai fighter, the risk of cuts is quite high. So Dang is telling me just go in, work hard, like carry over from round 4. One more round is what he's saying. You'll see this a lot between rounds 4 and 5, a fighter going to their corner and bowing again, which usually we do before the fight starts. And they always have you hug and say sorry between rounds 4 and 5, because you're going to be friends again after. So basically what they want her to do is for her to stay on her bicycle, stay away from me, and just land that left kick. That will bring her round 3 victory back around to her round 5 victory. My job is just to stay so fucking close, catch her, and keep the momentum from round 4 going. So this is the like, is it going to be a reestablishment or is it going to be a carryover? I'm staying too far away. She's landing that left kick that she's trying to land. She's doing the like dance off already, like just come and get me. So because she's doing that, I have to come and get her. Otherwise the story is that she stayed away from me. She's performing really well. That body punch took a little bit of wind out of her. I caught her kick. The kick scores, and I didn't do much on the other end of it, so that was her exchange there. But she's in my clutches again here. She did a judo throw on me, and the referee actually warns her. People will do illegal trips all the time and not get a warning, but when I get fouled on, I get so pissed. I hate it. So I'm actually pretty angry now coming after her. I threw that left hook, didn't land, but it was with menace, and now that I've got her, I've got that like foul in my mind. I'm not in a great position, but I know that her knees are coming. Like I can feel exactly what her rhythm is because she's tired. So I'm just waiting. Down we go. Round 5, put her on the ground, not fouling. That's good for me. I'm looking at my corner to see whether I can dance off, and they're not saying anything to me, so I gotta go. I'm closing in. She's looking more like she's just trying to stay away from me rather than that she's controlling anything. So even though she's doing what she was doing before, I decide to pull away, and it becomes the like, are you gonna be able to handle the rest of this fight? And she's kind of dancing off too, but honestly, this fight is so close. I believed that they could have given it to her with us both dancing off at this point, but I'm taking that throw and that last round with her just trying to stay away from me as my victory, and I'm committing to it. Kevin hates the way I dance off. He thinks that it's not relaxed enough, but I'm just trying to stay in the like, that was enough. I think our body language especially, going into our opposite corners after this fight, demonstrate that she knows she lost this fight, and I felt like it could have gone either way, but I was pretty sure that I won that fight. So I was happy. I was happy to get that win. Razor thin, not easy, but good victory for me. Very happy. So when I got out, I texted Krunu in Dieselnoy and let them know that I had won. And Dieselnoy called me when I was in the car. He was so excited. He was actually like giggling. He was like so stoked. And I cannot express how epic it is to have Dieselnoy call you and like giggle and be super excited about your victory when you're already excited about your victory in the car on the way back from a fight. It's unbelievable. So the announcer is already bringing in the next fight in Thailand. There's not a whole rigmarole of reading scorecards and all of this stuff. You just get the next fight in. This is what a festival looks like that's just outside of a Wat. So you can see the temple in the background there. These like fluorescent lights and food stalls are like quintessential for what festival fights look like. They're very, very loud. It's a little bit muddy back here, and Mike ran up to me and gave me a pair of sandals that weren't mine. They were like men's sandals to help me walk through that area while I got to the staircase that we had done the entry to the ring and got my shoes. This is one of the things when you have to have the like catwalk into the ring, is that you leave your shoes somewhere where you're not going to be exiting. So it's like, you have to like go find your shoes again after a fight. It's totally like such a normal experience in festival Thai fighting, and something that probably does not happen at all in America. These people over here on the left is a father and daughter who just arrived at Lana that day, and they came to see my fight, which is very, very nice. Wow. It's tiring to travel. Got the Sylvie cackle going. Razor thin. Razor thin. That could have definitely been a loss. The way I'm actually thinking about this fight for myself is I don't have to feel super bad because I did win, so I have this like perfume that you get when you win a fight. But I'm thinking about it as a loss because I still need to change all of those things that made it as close as it was. And so Kevin and I are arguing about me fighting this fight orthodox. Kevin was saying I should have gone southpaw so that I could be on that closed side. Dang is saying I shouldn't because Palmy is a natural southpaw, and so southpaw to southpaw she has greater natural experience, but southpaws have more experience against orthodox, not other southpaws. So lots to consider.